Well, it turns out my TIME ADHX build was quite the smash hit on social media, and I've been getting hammered with video requests to show more of it. So here it is, a video about all the wild stuff going on with the build and some thoughts on what this absolute weapon of a bike is actually like to ride. Now, I do have a link to an article with the full build list in the description below if you want to check that out, and I'll explain a little bit more about that later on. But before that is a brief history of my experience with TIME. I first fell in love with them because I was lucky enough to test an Alpe d'Huez and Cylon back to back in the heady days of 2019. I absolutely fell in love with the ride feel and the fantastic geometry on them. I remember saying back then that if I bought another carbon road bike, it would probably be a TIME, and that turned out to be rather true. This is the first carbon bike I've bought in several years. Beyond the fantastic ride quality, TIME has such a high standard of carbon fiber manufacturing. I've had nothing but metal bikes for the past few years, but now I've decided to put my money where my mouth is and bought from a company that makes really good quality carbon fiber that should stand the test of time. So let's crack on with the build. Kicking off, of course, with the frame. The heart of the bike is a TIME ADHX in gloss forest green, and I am a size large. The ADHX is an adaptation of TIME's Alpe d'Huez. The main changes to the geometry are half a degree off the head angle and pushing the chainstays back by 16mm to accommodate the bigger tyres. But other than that, it is broadly the same as the road-going Alpe d'Huez. TIME has been pretty clear with what the ADHX is meant to be, a fast gravel bike. It's got long and low geometry, quite narrow tyre clearance, and I can confirm it flies along gravel roads. Rocky fire roads and trails, not so much. That's more because of the tyres though, because there's not a lot of air volume to stop me from smashing through a rim. It's no secret, this isn't the most versatile of gravel bikes on the market. It's performance oriented, so you're not getting mounts for bike packing or 50 mils of clearance. But it sure is good at what it's designed to do. Go quickly. So, what about all the bling? After the frame, the Groupset definitely gets the most questions. This used to be a SRAM Force Wide 2x, but I adapted it to a Garbaruk 1x system. Up front is a massive blingy 46 tooth chainring. At the back is a 10 to 52 tooth cassette, and the cage and pulley wheel system makes all the magic possible. In total, I get an excellently wide gear range and pretty solid shifting considering what I've done with it. I often get asked about how well the Garbaruk adapted drivetrains shift, and you do lose some crispness and accuracy. Shimano and SRAM designed their products to work as a system, and I'm introducing parts that come from outside of that system. That said, with patience and a good mechanic, they do shift more than well enough. The chain was causing some trouble early on with this Groupset, but it's kind of run in nicely and the system is working really well overall. The wheels are suitably bonkers as well. The rim is a Nextie AGX 45 with some totally insane depth and width numbers on them. They are laced to a set of Tune Climb Hill hubs in, of course, gold bling with Sapim C X-ray spokes holding it all together. The numbers on the rims are pretty nuts. 45 mils deep, 40 mils external width, and 29 millimeters internal. Now we did go with hooked rims, so we wouldn't have any tire compatibility issues, and 29 mils internal width is plenty wide enough. The 35 mil Pirelli tires hit around 38 mils on these massive rims, which gives them an excellent sort of footprint. The Tune Climb Hill hubs in beautiful gold are running very smoothly, and the total weight of the build is 1.58 kilos. That is fully built up, 28 spokes front and rear with tape on it. So that's sort of rolling weight. So it won't blow your mind with those sort of numbers, but when you consider that this is how they are turned out and ready to ride, that is very respectable given the overall size and depth of the rims. Some interesting notes on the rims, they were actually really round out of the box, which is not something to take for granted. Just speak to any wheel builder you know who's done a lot of carbon. Not all wheels are actually round. The wheels really are quite an amazing piece of kit, and the way they feel when you ride and the way they sort of get up to speed and hold it is quite amazing. Not really something I'm used to with gravel wheel sets. And I'm really looking forward to testing them on some wider tires. On another bike, obviously, because I've pretty much filled up the clearance I've got with this particular setup. Now, let's move up to the front of the bike. I went with a data cockpit because that's what Time uses on their own builds, and I liked the way it all looked and came together. It's a superbox stem with the inbuilt hose routing system, and I chose a set of Gera alloy handlebars to go with them, which have some pretty crazy shapes. The stem system is all about cleanliness, routing the hoses into the frame, where yes, they do run through the headset bearings. Welcome to bikes in 2023, I guess. This system though is a relatively good compromise for managing that integration. The Gera bars have really surprised me actually. I bought them because they were cheap and looked interesting, and the shaping on the tops turned out to be really nice. It softens up your wrist position nicely, and it means I'm actually riding on that position more than I would if it was a regular straight bar, which I do find can be just a little bit awkward because your hands naturally want to turn outwards a little bit, and you can't really do that. There is also enough space around the stem to mount bags and bike computers, which is great. And now let's do a lightning round of the rest of the build. Under my butt is a Selle Repente Quasar CR saddle. Holding that to the bike is a Data Super Zero carbon seat post. Under my hands is the grippy and plush Cyclovation Advanced Grind Touch bar tape. And keeping me attached to the bike is a set of Look X-Track Race pedals. And of course, for the weight weenies among us, the riding weight is 8.8 kilos. That includes pedals and bottle cages. So now that you've seen the build, I'm not actually going to review the TIME ADHX frame for a very good reason. I'm a part owner of ACM Sports, a website that sells Time products. I still paid quite a lot for this frame, but a business I partly own benefits from the sales of this product, which means I'm not really neutral on it anymore. So I'm more than happy to talk in very general terms that I am personally very happy with the ADHX frame and the build as a whole. I have spent quite a lot of my own money on it. Absolutely not something I got for free. So there it is guys, a look through quite an insane build that's really done the rounds of social media and gotten reshared all over the place. It's kind of wild how much this bike really took off on the socials. Let me know if you've got any more questions about the build in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching as always. Don't forget to ride safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you next time.